the faster you travel, right? The faster you go. The more you apply the teachings, the more you understand the teaching and apply it, the faster you will understand. But you have to understand correctly. Okay? Don't worry, got one more. You see? Will. A will is never an end in itself unless you are a will collector. Otherwise, it is not possible that you will see the will as an end in itself. Likewise, Dhamma is not an end in itself. It's the tool to Nibbana. Some of you will say, oh, what's Nibbana? Later. Later we'll explain. But just understand this as the start point. Okay? Finish taking picture? Move on. I switch off. Okay. Now, this is lovely. This is a very unusual sutta because it starts in the middle of nowhere. The teaching starts like this. There are two extremes that should not be followed. Pursuit of sensual happiness, which the Buddha called low, vulgar, way of worldlings, ignoble, unbeneficial. Every single adjective there has a place in the explanation. It is not Buddha showing off his thesaurus. Low, in his mind, there is a higher way of living and there is a lower way of living, more gross, more unbecoming for a practitioner. Way of the world, the secular world, okay? It's not very wise. Ignoble actually merely means it's not very wise and it wouldn't do you much good. That's what it means. Then you look at this one. Self-mortification, you torture your own body. If there is an uncomfortable position, push it. Pain is good. That's what it means, And Buddha says it's painful, it's also ignoble, and it wouldn't do you any good. He doesn't call it low, vulgar, and way of the world. You see that? He calls it painful, not very wise, and not very beneficial. This is an important distinction note. I will talk about the next part, then I'll come back to here again. Why did he start off like this? You see, he was teaching a group of practitioners who specialize in self-mortification. 100 marks. Yeah, very generous. The next one with the right answer gets 200 marks. We might as well just go, okay? He was teaching a group of practitioners who were doing by the most painful method possible. The very reason why they were, to the Buddha was because he went down to 1 grain, they were still taking more. So they were very impressed. Okay? And part of the reason is actually because they are older than him, but that's beside the point. They were gunning for something called moksha. Moksha is liberation. Okay, they want the way out. Remember what I was saying about the way out? Moksha means liberation, the way out. They wanted that. So in their mind, the audience, in the mind of his first audience, the first thing they wanted to ask him was, how do you do it? What are we supposed to do? How do you get out? What must we do? That is why he started the sutta with, there are 2 methods you should not engage in. One method is the way of the world. The other method is to torture your body. Many people would assume that he was talking, by the 2 ways, he was talking about a lay life and he was talking about ascetic life. How many of you think like this? dare not think. Huh? How many of you, when you read this sutta originally, right, I'm sure you have read it before, some of you, right? When you read it before, you might have assumed he was talking about the lay life and the life of the ascetic. Yes? It's a fair conclusion. But actually he wasn't. He was actually talking about methods of practice. In the old days, some people believe that you can realize by sheer indulgence. There were a group of ascetics in his time who were preaching, indulge, just enjoy. And there was another group that when this form traps you. So you want to break from the form, you torture it. That's the two extremes. Literally, those were the methods used in his time. And he was saying neither would work. Torturing the form or simply giving in to the form will not work. It has to be the middle path. Without veering towards either extreme, awaken to the middle path. Majjhima Patipada, okay? Which gives rise to, these are not extra words. I want to point out, without veering towards either extreme, the method to realization. He was explaining the method to realization. The method means you cannot completely give in to what your body wants and indulge. Neither should you completely deny it and instead inflict pain on it. Not the two extreme. Awaken to the middle path. He realized there is a third way, which is between these two, which means to say there must be some degree of control and restraint, must be some degree of restraint, and sometimes, not sometimes, there must be some degree of restraint, but not to a point when everything it wants you say cannot. I want to get up, cannot. I want to lie down, cannot. I want to do this, cannot. I do that, cannot. If you keep saying cannot, you actually have gone to the other extreme. When you keep doing it in that two extremes, and this is what will happen to us. If you deny, what happened? The child will rebel. You will burn down your house. Okay, very drastic, with drama. With drama. But if not drama, you cannot remember. Okay? Awaken to the middle path, and if you are able to strike the balance between restraint without completely denying, at some point this will happen. It gives rise to vision, to knowledge, meaning in the practice about this Dhamma, you must have a certain mental realization, an awakening moment, and a eureka moment. The eureka moment comprises something you see about the mind and something you understand about how the mind works. You understand? It has to be something you see about the mind, and with that seeing, you understand how the mind works. Okay? But there are two parts which gives rise to vision, to knowledge, and this is the part that many of us forget, leads to peace. And then comes direct knowledge, enlightenment, nibbana. the sequence is important. Why is the sequence important? Because at one point in your practice, I'm not talking about you, because he was actually describing a learning process. This is a learning process. This is not Buddha's enlightenment process. This is a learning process for every practitioner. First, you don't know what you're doing, so you ding and dong and ding and dong. You swing between your extremes. You look at your own mind. You look at your own practice. One day you say, okay lah. The other day you say, cannot. This is how we do things. We will swing between, when you are out in lay life, in your secular life, you want to eat, you eat. Go to a hawker center, whatever you want to buy, you buy. But when you go on retreat, everything cannot. The full vegetarian only. One meal, that's it. So you are actually going between the extremes. Okay? And it's only when you understand the mind balancing between restraint, but not to the point of painful denial. That's how it goes. Then that allows you a moment of insight. When you see the mind going, oh, like that, that's a moment of insight. That moment of insight, whatever it is, that moment of insight will lead you to feel better. That's why the word here leads to peace. Because you felt better, the mind feels better. At the point when the mind feels better, the mind has an understanding, a deeper understanding. Because for the first time, when the mind feels better, the mind actually feels, so this is what it is about. This is how it is done. That's the direct knowledge. And with that comes a deeper understanding. And you will then feel absolutely blissful, happy, nibbana, release, happy, joyous. So this practice is not about how smart you are. It is not. It's about how much you understand so that you can let go. If it were about how smart you are, then actually not difficult at all. You just have to tak lo, tak. It is all about time, as long as you can go. But it is really about whether the mind knows how to let go. And this is what he said, because after this is what he said. Uh-oh. Yeah, like that. Okay. Take a picture, we move on. So one is about seeing and understanding, and the joy brings relief, which is what I said. Relief, joyous, and experience. What it means is, if in your practice, for those of you who have gone for a retreat, for those of you who have spent years practicing, you have never experienced joy on the path with understanding. Joy on the path with understanding, then your path got lost already. Singit liao. We must revisit the path. Okay? Okay, move on. Then the Buddha said, this is the Eightfold Path. I recap, because he was explaining to ascetics, he had to tell them, what you guys were doing cannot, it's wrong. There is another way to do it, and this is the way that will lead to nibbana, the bliss, lead to knowledge, understanding, direct seeing, to peace, to nibbana. And this path, now I'm telling you, is this. Right understanding, right thought, right speech, right action, right livelihood, right effort, right mindfulness, right concentration. I know Some of you could recite this blindfolded in Pali, downwards and upwards, in sequence, yes? Modesty prevents an answer. Of course, but you're too modest. You know, you can only do it downwards, cannot do it upwards. Bear that in mind. There is a reason why the Buddha laid it in this sequence. This is not buffet. You can choose to start with dessert and end with appetizer. If Buddha meant it to be a buffet, he would have added one line there. Anywhere also can. But always, he laid it down like this. And if you are on the path, you will understand why. Look, you want to travel from here to Ang Mo Kio. You cannot possibly start from Ang Mo Kio. Because this is the start point and that's the end point. You know what I'm saying? Okay, why is it Samadhi? Why must it be this sequence? I'm just going to explain it superficially, just lightly touch and go, okay? I'm going to explain that because subsequently the teachers will be explaining in detail the different steps. So I'm going to just touch it lightly. Why must it be in sequence? Because in everything that you do, because this is not an easy practice, right? It's going to change the way you do things, change the way you see the world. In everything that you do, surely it must start with knowing why you are doing it. Why am I doing it? And you must understand that why properly. Yes? No, because I actually started with right speech. Everything that you do, you must start with the correct understanding, the correct perspective. Why am I doing this? That's why here he said the correct understanding is important. And subsequently, mind you, subsequently after this, he straight away plunged into explaining in detail right understanding. He didn't do anything else. So the entire sutta here is about right understanding. Everything else can be dealt with later, but the right understanding must come first. So this entire sutta was about right understanding. If you don't have the right understanding, why would you do the rest? In other words, because with the correct understanding, then this is how it goes. What is this correct understanding? What is this right understanding? It is understanding Four Noble Truths. Some of you will say, secular argument. Not yet. I will go into that in a while. The right understanding is Four Noble Truths. Okay? End of the class, I will ask the question, what is right understanding? Then you must chorus. Okay? Chorus. Remember, not Noble Four Truths. Four Noble Truths. Okay. So the right understanding must start first. Because that is your understanding. Because that is your perspective. Because that is your perspective, your understanding, because that is your understanding, your perspective, then in terms of thought formation, thought formation, the first thing you will do is say, it's okay, I let go, I try. Because the first one of right thought is nekkhamma. Nekkhamma is renunciation. Renunciation. It means to let go. It's okay. You say it's okay. If you didn't have the correct understanding, why would you even say, it's okay, I let go? Mind you, let go is not let go. It's letting it go, okay? Letting it be. Understand? And because you are able, I'm assuming that you got it right, you know how to let it be. When you know how to let it be, then it's possible for the mind to be soft. And that is why the second right thought is no ill will. First one is renunciation. The second one is no ill will. For those of us with friends and family, because you are not like that, you very let go on, huh? Your friends and family, you know of people with a lot of anger and pain and agitation. That is because they couldn't let go. They only know how to let go at you, but they don't know how to let it be. Right? Because if you know how to let it be, you wouldn't have anger. The ill will wouldn't be strong. And it is only when you have anger and ill will that you will have cruelty. It is only when you're really angry that you will hurt people. Cruelty means hurting people. That you are angry doesn't mean you will hurt. You know the difference. That's why the Buddha has nekkhamma, number one, veyapada, no ill will, avihimsa, no cruelty. That's the reason for that sequence. If you are able to let it be, you will feel better, you will feel joyous, then you have no ill will. Without ill will, you will not be cruel. Think of the time when you were cruel. It's all the way back to I can't let go. Yes? The three are not taken separately. They are taken together. Many of us think that Buddha meant let go. Then sometimes no ill will. And sometimes no cruelty. No. It's a sandwich. It's a sandwich. So every time you find that you are doing something nasty, being cruel, you're doing something nasty, it means that it's something you can't let go of. And there's a lot of anger there. Get it? So don't try to, I'll be very kind, but I can't let go. I can be kind. You sure one day will just whack on. Okay? Then, because of the right thoughts, then your speech will be right. Your action will be right. If you have cruelty, your speech either pretty or not, cantik or not. If you are angry, right? You can't let go. You are angry. Your speech will also ilang, off. Isn't it? It's only when you are able to do all of the above properly, then your speech will be sweet, nice. That's why right speech, right action. And then, if you are into right action, I won't go into details because someone will go into details with you. Right livelihood is don't engage in a livelihood that will cause pain to others. That's all. Now, if you are able to do right speech, right action, right livelihood, then automatically your mind is trying to clean up its act. But it's a little bit more. Right effort is a little bit more than the right speech and right action. Right effort specifically means if there are negativities, negative thoughts, negative emotions in your mind, purge it, drop it, cut it out. If they were not there, don't let it come up. If there are no positivities, no good thoughts in your mind, bring it up. If they are there, prolific, grow it. The reason why this is important is because you are gunning for the meditation, the right mindfulness and right concentration. Okay? Now, do not, I repeat, do not underestimate the Eightfold Path. Do not say, I know already. I everyday practice Eightfold Path, I know already. Ayya, why that fellow jump queue? That's not practicing Eightfold Path, okay? Then you say what? People jump queue cannot say anything. Cannot, but that's not Eightfold Path. You can say whatever you want. It's not Eightfold Path. Okay? So the Buddha's path, this path is a practitioner path. So that should console you a little. But some of us say, I'm not starting practice yet, ma? Okay. So for you, special. 7.5 fold path. The half is a meditation that goes a bit wonky. Okay. The point is, you have to have the correct understanding before you will find the incentive to work on this. If you do not understand, if you do not have the correct understanding, before we launch into it, if you don't have the correct understanding, what's your incentive for not speaking up when someone cut your path? What's the incentive? Scared people beat you up, lor? For all the wrong reason, you restrain yourself. You see what I'm saying? You can try and try, but if you don't understand for what you're doing something, then you will say, why Buddha so hard one? Why must it be adina dana? I never take can already, I never steal. By the way, adina dana is very complex. Not complex, it's simple, but it's not that easy. It's not just stealing, it's a lot more. I will leave it to Kim to handle that. Kim, right? You, he will handle it. Okay. Now, only when you really understand, then you will try in little ways, you will try to make a difference in your mind. And because of that difference, it will make a difference in your life. Okay? Why would people become ascetic? This one was not part of the sutta. It's just an inject here. Why would people become ascetics? You have to live a life of denial, put yourself through uncertainty, deliberate hardship. If you are Theravadian Sangha, you eat only once, twice max, before actually once, but actually once. Buddha's time was once. Cannot touch money. Alamak, no credit card. Live ascetic life, meaning not go Takashimaya buy clothes. Happy blue color robe, purple color robe, can match my shoe. One color, you don't like it, too bad. Why go through the hardship? So very often, and we're not just talking about the Sangha, we're talking about any type of ascetic life. It's very often a belief, some meaning, some purpose, for moksha and so on and so forth, okay? What about Buddhism? Buddhism, in the Dhamma, in the Buddha's path, someone would take up a Sangha life fundamentally for happiness. Fundamentally for happiness. In other words, if you live the regular life, at some point you feel that something is incomplete, unsatisfactory about your regular life, your secular life, and you say, I want to experience true, unconditioned happiness, joy, then I will go on this path. Oddly, for most of us, you may not realize this. If you think very hard, you will, if you think, actually you don't think very hard, you just think. A bit also can. You think about it, when you say something is meaningful, don't you remember that it's something to do with you enjoying yourself? Yes? Usually when you enjoy yourself, you will say it's meaningful, right? Yeah, no? Oh, sorry. For the 5 ascetics, they already concluded it's dukkha. That there's something wrong in the mundane life and they were going to do something about it. But the last line is the important one. Like everyone else, they were looking for happiness in their interaction and association with the external world, the outside world. What is this inside and outside world? Inside, voila, in your mind, Outside, your eye, the visual objects, the audio objects, the sense spaces. Okay? So, with that as the start point, we're going to introduce the rest of the sutta. Buddha said, after he explained earlier on about how the middle path will bring relief, insight and relief, he said, now, there is this bhikkhu. I'm going to introduce it in the way it was written. This is the noble truth of dukkha. Birth is dukkha, aging is dukkha, illness is dukkha, death is dukkha. Wait, don't give you this one first. It was a titillating moment. Okay, first, the way it was phrased is important to bear in mind. Buddha never said life is suffering. That was the result of human without understanding cok kepo. Anyhow put words in Buddha's mouth. Buddha said it like this. Now, this is the noble truth of dukkha. Dukkha is not, the direct translation of the word dukkha is not suffering. The word dukkha merely means difficult to bear, hard to bear. So, okay lah, suffering lah. But actually it means unpleasant. That is why today you may come across books that will translate it as stress, dissatisfaction. The idea is that it is unpleasant. When you experience it, you don't like it. So you sit there, your butt pain, dukkha. But you wouldn't dare say it's suffering. But it's dukkha. When you go, I need to go, I need to go, but she starts dragging this thing on, dukkha. Alright, okay? If you go buy nasi lemak store closed, dukkha. Because that's not suffering, but that's not pleasant. It's just a feeling where you say, ayah. The noble truth of ayah. Okay? Get it? I used to say the noble truth of tak syok, but ayah also can. But there are some which is really dukkha. It's really suffering, correct? Birth, aging, illness, death. Now, what the Buddha was doing is to answer the question, what? What is dukkha? And so he objectively lists down the what is dukkha. If you think about it, the birth process, all the woman who has given birth will tell you, dukkha. The aging process may not be very, very dukkha until you hit, at a certain point, become sick. But even then, when you're struggling to get up from the floor, dukkha. The child, bounce down, bounce up. The rest of us, dukkha. Illness, dukkha. Otherwise, why take MC? Death is definitely dukkha. Definitely. He was explaining an organic biological process which every one of us go through. None of us here have not experienced 3 of the 4. You wouldn't have experienced the 4th in this life yet. But you would have experienced losing someone. That was death, right? So the biological process of life is not pleasant. It's stressful. What do we do about it? Buy more makeup. Muddy the water, blind the reality. Fuzzy it a bit. That's what we do. But I'll explain it a bit later. So the organic biological process is dukkha, it's objective. There is nothing wrong in that. Okay? Union with what is displeasing, you feel unhappy, is dukkha. Separating from what is pleasing is dukkha. Why do you think we spend so much time running away from the fellow we don't like? Or so much time running towards the person we like? Why do we do that? Because the emotional, psychological part of life, feelings, union with what is displeasing, separating from what is pleasing. By the way, this is not about human only. Even though the Pali word pema actually means love, beloved. But this is also about the things that you love, the things you enjoy, and the things you don't like. If you are seated in a place where the water keeps dripping on your head, you don't like. Dukkha or sukha? Dukkha. If you are seated in a place, the aircon blows at you, you don't like. If you like, because you polar bear, you like, then the polar bear here will be saying, so hot, I don't like. You see what I'm saying? Dukkha, it's around us. It is not suffering, but this is not pleasant. Buddha then sums it up. Not to get what you want is dukkha. Which part of it is wrong? Which part of it is wrong? Not wrong, right? But you do realize that it's there on the time. He says, in brief, the 5 aggregates subject to clinging are dukkha. Meaning, what's the 5 aggregates? I'm going to just spin this once, but this is actually module 2, right? Module 2. So the incentive to come back for module 2 is there. 5 aggregates, physical form, rupa, consciousness, feelings, perception, thought formation. 5 aggregates, okay? It sums up as you, the person. So anyhow, if you look at your mind, any of this is dukkha. Yes or no? Buddha correct or not? You're talking about the Buddha, he's right here. Can give a bit more enthusiastic echo, no? Enthusiastic chorus. Buddha correct or not? Yes. Like that also he happier ma. But you know what's the problem? Do you notice dukkha? Not really. Why? Because if you notice dukkha, I'll explain to you in a while. Some of you will say, I always dukkha, what? I always dukkha. Then why don't practice, huh? I later then practice. Usually this kind of strange answer. But you see, what he just described is a state of mind that you experience on a daily basis. On a daily basis. There will be things you like, there will be things you don't like, there will be things you want, there will be things you don't want. And then in the meantime, your legs are creaking away. Arthritis ma, rheumatism ma. So you will have all these issues, but no, I don't see dukkha. Why? Because honestly, on a daily basis, we are too busy looking for happiness. If you look at your mind, at any one time, it's thinking of past glory, if you have some. Reminiscing about lost glory, if you had some. Or you are planning and planning and planning about tomorrow. Your mind is constantly chasing, hunting, running all over the place, planning for tomorrow's breakfast. And while we were at it, let's just fix lunch and dinner. Who shall we go for lunch with? Tomorrow, let's go watch a show. Saturday, right? Tomorrow, let's go shopping. We are planning. We spend our time planning. If you are a happy person and you have hope, you will plan. If you are a depressed person, if you are a depressed person because the mind has gotten into a state of depression, you will say tomorrow has no hope. And when you say tomorrow has no hope, because I can plan and plan, my mind still like that. My mind has no hope. And when that happens, what do? You kill yourself. It gets as bad as we kill ourselves. So the average mind, the typical mind, spends its time chasing outside, planning. And when it's not chasing outside, it's chasing inside, planning or remembering, always remembering. Why do we get depressed when people die? Taboo question. Why do we get depressed when people die? Because we keep thinking about the good times. And we keep saying, I cannot have those good times with so-and-so again. It's recollecting with pain. Why do we get so happy planning our trip? You know, studies have shown you are happier planning for a trip. And you are also as happy after the trip. But when you are on the trip, during the trip, Dukkha Arya Satya. Yes? Singaporean crowd, you just ask them this question, they all can have recollection because it just happened yesterday. We all travel so widely, we spend our time planning trips. And then after that, showing videos of trips. iPad on trips. But while we are at it, it's just another day. Find food, find things to see. How come I don't have discount? And goes on and goes on. That's why it's so dukkha, you see? Our usual coping mechanism, you see, earlier on I said that dukkha is a way of life. It's something you will experience all the time, yes? But how is it most times we don't even think about dukkha? You can say, I experience dukkha, I know. Yes, when you look at your mind, at that moment, you will experience the unpleasantness. Then you say, siyama. Don't think. Think of something pleasant. You see that? I'll think of something pleasant. You will distract, you will displace, the ostrich is the one that says, don't look at it. Don't think about it. Exam coming, don't think about it. If you don't think about it, exam wouldn't come. Then, ta-da, exam's right here. Ayo. Okay, never mind. I think about chanting. Chanting will help. Coping mechanism, take active step to postpone the inevitable. I chant harder. Positive steps, right? Positive steps. For those, some of us believe, so go and grab a few more charms. And then you displace. I will think about after the exam. Because thinking about exam very painful. Then after that, I go shopping, I go play, I go friend's house. You see that? Or, okay, never mind, later then study. Now I watch TV. And it is not just the students guilty of this. Tomorrow you have a major presentation, you're very scared. Don't think about it. Tomorrow I see doctor get funny results. Don't think about it. I'll think about pakute when the result's done. This is how your mind copes. And then while you are planning and planning and planning, you are not looking at dukkha. Okay? Sorry. And because we were not looking at dukkha, then 我们就这样过一生咯。My Chinese words getting longer, okay? One day, thank you. One day the entire talk will be in Mandarin. Thank you. With a lot of English in it. No, the point is, because we are so caught up, not dealing with the true nature of the mind. The true nature of the mind is, it's restless, it's hunting, it's chasing, it's like that. This is describing the nature of your mind. Let me explain. Kama Tangha. These are the three tanghas. Buddha says, okay, this is how it goes. This is the noble truth of the origin of dukkha. It is this craving which leads to renewed existence, accompanied by delight and lust, seeking delight here and there. When you first read these words, renewed existence, you may think it is about rebirth. No, it's about now, this life. Why? Because every time you think of a new thought of delight or dukkha, I think a new thought is a new existence. Can you see that? Your mind actually flips pages. Flips. After one page of things over, a new page will come up. That's how our mind works. Yes? No. Yours is one lovely seamless transition. That's how your mind works. Your mind flips by page. Page after page after page. In the one page, some pages, very short, 2 lines only. You can't stand the guy, 1 line. Think of something else. So in some pages, very short. I think I must go already. Very short. Then, new one, new page. Guess what? I'm going to McDonald's. Okay, I like McDonald's. I'm going to McDonald's, blah, 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 blah. So your mind flips. And what flips the mind page? You think about it. What flips your mind page? It is craving. Craving, then you say, last one don't have. I explained already, will have. The first one says, kama tangha, pleasure in things experienced through sense basis. Something you see, something you hear, something you smell, something you taste, something you experience through touch, and then the mental flipping. If you think about it, right, you look at your mind, at any one time, it has a thought. The thought has to do with, I want to see something, I want to hear something, I want to taste something, I hear already, here halfway also, the mind changed another page. You see your mind? And it's always about something you want or don't want. Always. Then you look at craving for becoming. I wrote 2 words there, becoming and being. Bhava tangha. Bhava is becoming. But being there, being aware, being here, being what you are is also bhava. So, the other thing that we like to think about is about ourselves. No, you don't think about yourself. You think about yourself. Why is it they don't like me? Why is it they like me? Why is it they look at me like that? Why is it they're not looking at me? I like to be thought of like this. I don't like to be thought of like that. I like to be thought of like this is bhava. I don't like to be thought of like that is vibhava. If you think about anything, it's always about one of these. I'm tired, I don't want to sit here, I'll go home. Vibhava tangha. But I better not say so loud, other people say me. Bhava tangha. My butt's hurting. Kama tangha. You see what I'm saying? You name something. My plant not growing well, okay, I can leave it to you to decide what that is. But it's always about something you want. Even when you are saying, I want to be a good Buddhist, what's that? Bhava tangha sui. 你们懂了吼? That almost sounded like sadhu. But that's the origin of your dukkha. All these wanting leads to your page, your mind page, flipping. As long as your mind page flips, chased by that dukkha or chasing after dukkha, you will experience dukkha. Sorry, chasing after craving, you will experience dukkha. Buddha correct or not? Correct. Now you understand the Dhamma? Yes. Yes. This is the Dhamma. Dhamma is not something esoteric, you floating on air. Dhamma is about your mind. This is the Dhamma. Okay? We crave because we delight in pleasant feeling and we are averse to painful feelings. That is just us. Then you say, like this how? I'm stuck. No, you're not stuck because got 3 and 4. You are stuck only when he stopped at 1 and 2. Okay, don't worry about it. Buddha covered the ground. Okay, this part you need to understand because if you do not see these 2 facts, if you don't agree with these 2 points, bye-bye, 回家了. Because what's there left to say? Why do the rest? But if you say, I get it, this indeed is describing my mind, then we move on. Okay? I move on, I assume you all agree. At any one time, okay, this is take picture. I already described all this thing. Okay? I move on. Say when, like pouring water. Okay? You don't say, okay, I will flip. Okay, move on. Yeah, some more. Sorry. Wasted your 1 byte space. Okay. I just wanted to make this point. You see, if you look at your mind, right, if by satisfying 1 craving, then you are done. Cukup, go home. Then it's okay. Go ahead, just satisfy it. The only problem is you satisfy it once, then it say, I want some more. Then you do it again, then it say, I want some more. Then you feed it again, and it will tell you, I want some more. The problem with craving is you can continue to feed craving, and it will continue to ask for more. The gratification, the sense of satisfaction is very temporary. For those of you who bought your $200,000 car, you waited like don't know how many years before you got it. You brought it home. And then after that, it gives you the cheap thrill for a good, I don't know how many minutes. Maybe 200,000 worth a bit more. Half an hour. Somehow it doesn't last, right? It only lasts, not last. It will only give you a renewed sense of satisfaction when people say, your car very nice. Then there's a renewed sense of satisfaction which lasts for a grand total of 2 minutes. Then now you are stuck because you really want people to talk about your lovely car. Forget about everything else because that car symbolized you, you know. It symbolized you. So you keep wanting people to praise it. And at some point it's going to turn old. Never mind, time to buy a new one. You see how expensive your craving is? And it's just like that. No matter how much joy you derive from a tangible object out there, and even when it's an intangible object, it's about you, people praising you, the satisfaction derived from that gratification is temporary. And so this is like incurable drug addict. Okay, don't laugh at people, okay? It is this one thing one thing that is experienced as dukkha. But fortunately, our mind has a solution to this problem. And the mind solution is pretend you don't feel the dukkha. Instead, let's focus on the anticipation of delight when when craving is gratified. Yes, that is how our mind works. You forget. You don't look at the dukkha of the moment. You focus on how I shall be happy when I get what I want. So because you are displacing the dukkha sensation, you never saw it coming. You only experience dukkha when you don't get what you want. Then you just focus on, I will chase. I will focus on thinking how happy I would be when I get it. Isn't that how our mind works? I'm not describing rocket science. This is how the mind works. Third noble truth, the Buddha said, this is the noble truth of the truth of the cessation of dukkha. Remainderless fading away, cessation of that same craving. The giving up, the relinquishing, the freedom from it, the non-reliance on it. The key point here is, note the Buddha said, he didn't say that you can push the dukkha away. He said the craving, the energy can cease. When the energy of craving stops, your sense of dukkha stops. That's the point. The key point here is, if you think of fixing dukkha by feeding craving, that's tackling the wrong issue. You're fixing the wrong thing. You must fix this dukkha by taming the craving energy, not by making yourself happy by feeding the craving energy. Get it? The way we have always tackled dukkha is to give in to craving. The way we have always tackled dukkha is to give in to craving. I know now you all sound just as disappointed because, face craving, how? Eightfold Path lah. Wait, patience. Patience a virtue, okay? If you believe this point, when we talk about saddha, having faith in Buddha, if you say, I have faith, I have confidence, I believe in the Buddha's Dhamma, this particular stanza that says craving energy can stop, if you believe it can be done, that's faith. If you never got here, your faith tak pakai, tak jalan. You can call yourself, why you say my faith not jalan? Because I bow 10 times a day. And every chewy jabgo, I buy flowers, pray. Yes, but you don't know Dhamma. As long as you don't reach here for your Dhamma and understand this and accept it, you believe craving energy can diminish. Now, of course, for us, cannot just poof, 没有了. Cannot lah. It must slowly diminish. It will. As long as you don't believe that it can be done, either because you don't see how it can be done, or this is the other part of faith, or you say, other people can, I cannot. So your faith is lacking in you, in yourself. But as long as your faith is lacking somewhere, then your faith is incomplete. The saddha is incomplete. So having saddha, having faith, I repeat, is believing that craving energy can diminish and cease. This one is cease, can stop. Number one. Number two, other people can do it, I can do it. If you say other people can do it, other people's problem, not mine, then incomplete. Salah. Your faith, -1. Okay? Got it? When I was writing this, I remembered this point. The word here is cease, meaning it stopped on its own. The word here is not don't want. Because when you want something or you don't want something, it is still one. It means I want not. That is why the two extremes, I want, I don't give you, same. Dukkha. It got to go into the middle. Okay? Okay. Should be correct already. But no more space. Get the picture. Okay, moving on. The way leading to the cessation of dukkha. Okay. Having faith is to believe that the Eightfold Path works. So one part about having faith is believing the energy can cease. And he's saying the cessation can be done, but it must be done like this. It must be done like this. So remember what I said about the Samaditi? The first one. Hello? Right understanding. And what right understanding is understanding of the Four Noble Truths. Now you know. This is the understanding of the Four Noble Truths. To understand it this way, not your way, Buddha's way. If you understand it this way, if you see and understand that indeed it is true that every time I want something, it is dukkha. If I can moderate my wanting, the dukkha will diminish because it's moderation of craving. Then the sensation of the agitation, the stress, the bosong part will all start to diminish. Okay? And the way to get there. So if you say, I understand this, right understanding, this being your start point, the next thing is, if there's something you really want, you learn to say it's okay. That's why the nekkhamma comes in. Nekkhamma, renunciation. That's how it comes in. Because you understand it, you're saying it's okay, it drops. And because it's okay, it drops, your wanting, your nekkhamma is starting to say it's okay, right? Then you don't get so upset, you get a little bit happier. Because you're happier, you are kinder. And when your mind is quiet enough, you can meditate. The meditation matters. Because if the meditation doesn't matter, Buddha would have said, you suka, 8-fold path. You bosuka, 7-fold path. 6-fold path also can. But he didn't give discount. So you cannot suka, give yourself discount. Some people lucky best. They said, this life cannot because I'm not very smart. Next life then do lor. You so sure your next life will be Buddhist? Number one. Number two, you so sure your next life still got YouTube and Dhamma talk? What happened you kena born in, I don't know, Tanzania or something, some remote places because you're very peaceful, right? In a remote, and you own the entire 200-acre land with no access to electricity. Think about it. And then you're so sure this life you got all the 7 sui or 6 sui, but the next day just do that 2. Sama sati, sama samadhi. I just do this 2 because I last life already do 6. Take up where I left off. You don't know. Because if you do know, then I'll ask you, what were you last life? But as long as you don't know what were you last life, you really cannot be sure what you will be next life. Okay? He said, the moment he understood, this happened in his mind. Knowledge and vision arose in me. Unshakable is the liberation of my mind. This is my last birth. Now there's no more renewed existence. No flipping pages. Okay? Dhamma realization comes with understanding and intuitive seeing. The mind, the eyes, my eyes see the working of the Dhamma. And then follows the taste of being freed and relief. Wait, this one first. Two parts, huh? Always remember this. In your journey, if you're a practitioner, you must always remember there are two parts to the practice. Understanding and the taste of liberation. However much you understand, however great is your taste of liberation. It is not, you must understand everything, PhD, and then you will taste the mortarboard. It's not like that. Every standard you pass, primary 1, primary 2, primary 3, as you go higher and higher, knowledge grows. You can go from addition, subtraction, multiplication to algebra. And then shopping at Takashimaya. Every step of the way, the mind's understanding of Dhamma grows. With that understanding, the joy in tasting the Dhamma grows. With the understanding of the Dhamma, you will feel happier and happier. If there were no experience of joy, Dhamma would have died a long time ago. Because Dhamma has no value. Dhamma has value only when people understood and can enjoy the knowledge. It's like learning to play music. If you play and you practice and you play and you practice and you still sound like a duck dying, at some point you will give up that instrument. But the day you manage to make a beautiful sound, what would you do? Tape it and upload on YouTube. You will practice. Next I cannot tell jokes, in case people take me literally, you know. But you think about it. The moment you manage to make a beautiful sound, you will enjoy it. And you will want to do it more. Because if you can make one sound beautiful, you can make two. So it's do and re, not just do. Agree? And in time, with the faith and the confidence, you will really make music. But if you start this journey with say, I cannot wanna, you see my finger, cannot wanna, then cannot lor. Ever. Because you look at fingers and you look at keyboard or you look at the instrument and you go, cannot ma, cannot. So what's the mental block? Finger. Your mind is your mental block. You get it? Okay. Dhamma so easy, man. Look, Kondanya realized. Kondanya, one of the 5 dust-free, stainless vision of the Dhamma. You know the word, huh? Dust-free. Buddha doesn't use word just for the heck of it. I think I should put a bit of dust. Dust-free. No. The mind became so sharp and clear. The mind became so sharp and clear, he could see by his mind eyes. He saw what Buddha was explaining, which is the Dhamma. And this line is the Dhamma. Whatever is subject to origination is all subject to cessation. Some of you will go, see what? Whatever arises will cease. Whatever arises in your mind, whatever experiences you have, they come and they go. If you can understand that, that's your taste of Dhamma. And some of you already understand that. That is Dhamma. What is Dhamma? That line is Dhamma. Whatever happens, no matter how painful your past experience, at the point you were experiencing it, it felt like it would go forever. But it stopped when someone passed on and you missed the person. Initially, it feels like you're stabbing yourself 10 times an hour. Maybe 5 minutes, every 5 minutes. Step. But at some point, it would feel like you're only stabbing 5 times. At some point, the stab dissipates. You know what I'm saying? Whatever arises as a mental state in your mind, that mental state will cease. Whatever. Every mental state arises because of a preceding mental state. You are happy because you got something you want. You are experiencing dukkha because of something you want and you don't have it. These are the realities of the mind. It just spins like this. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. Nothing lasts. Nothing in the mind. Nothing in the mind. Nothing, I should actually tweak this last line. Nothing of thoughts, emotions, perception. Nothing of those lasts. Even consciousness, because consciousness is dependent on what seizes it at the moment. Even that doesn't last. Because you go from eye to ear to smell to taste to touch to butt. Nothing lasts. It keeps flipping. Is that so difficult to understand Dhamma? Everything that is described here is Dhamma. Then why are we clinging? That's the problem. The problem for us, which is why getting you here and understanding what the Buddha taught is not difficult. This was what the Buddha taught. It's not difficult, right? How many of you don't understand? Must always ask the correct question. How many of you don't understand? Voila, everybody understood, right? I have enough teaching experience to know you must always ask the correct question if you want to get the correct answer. Okay? So there is a unanimous understood. Huh? It's this part, the clinging part, that is tough. In order for the mind to accept that it must uncling, the word here, in order for the mind to accept it must uncling, the mind must realize and see for itself, moment to moment, nothing lasts. When the mind internalizes this enough, one day the mind will say, 闲了啊, 搞了啦. You understand? As long as the mind doesn't internalize impermanence, the mind will always take the next moment, the next sukha as with it. If you think about it, anything that's with it must be permanent. Otherwise, what's with it? Anything that is permanent, then it's with it. When it is not permanent, why is that worth it? Worth dukkha? I think so. Of course not, right? Now you can internalize in your mind. Okay. Buddha said, this is not what I said, Buddha said, dukkha must be understood. There is dukkha. This is how he said it. There is dukkha. Okay, we know what he meant, huh? There's dukkha. It must be understood. It has been understood. So tonight, you accept there is dukkha, and you understand what the Buddha said, it has to be understood properly. But you have not understood it. So that's why no arahant tonight. Okay? The next one, he said, origin. There is the origin of dukkha, which we remember tanha, craving. Origin of tanha. The tanha must be let go of, abandoned. It must be let go of. When you have achieved it, it has been let go of, abandoned. Okay? Nirodha, that tanha, it can cease. So dukkha can cease. Craving can cease, therefore dukkha can cease. And that cessation has to be tasted. Because if it's not tasted, you don't believe it. And must be tasted, has been tasted, has been realized. Now, this third point here, it is very important. So on the day, on the glorious day, when you got angry with your neighbor and you go over and scold the person, right? Observe your mind when you say, it's okay lah, let you go lah. At the point when you allow the anger, when you allow yourself not to want to be right, if you allow yourself to say, it's okay, I don't need to be right lah, give you face. At the point, feel better. Really, really feel better and remember it. Because that's the reality of the mind. Anything you are able to say it's okay, you will feel better. And you must constantly experience that cessation, the letting go is correct. Part of the practice. And the path, the Eightfold Path, must be developed. Okay, there is a path, meaning there is a method that can do it. I will work at developing the skills associated with the method, the path, and when you do it correctly, the rest will fall. Okay? I put to you this, like a lawyer, I put to you this. We are living in deluded ignorance. So rude I am. Okay. Why deluded? Because in our mind, in our life, we feel we should be happy. Sukha is the opposite of dukkha. Sukha is correct, real, and an entitlement. Entitlement. As long as we are human, we should be happy. Buddha's not saying this is wrong. The word here is deluded. Deluded is a perception, our perception. We feel that we can be happy, we will be happy, and only being happy is correct. So when we are experiencing dukkha, we will say that experience is wrong. That experience is artificial. We must correct it. So that is why when we are sad and when we are upset, we will tell ourselves we need to get out of this because this is wrong. There is no right or wrong. The point is there is no right or wrong. There is only what works or doesn't. As long as we chase after something in order to experience gratification and delight, as long as we chase to get delight, we will experience dukkha. That's all it means. And because our mind is always chasing, our mind is always chasing. Our mind is always chasing. That is why our mind is always experiencing dukkha. But we don't know that. We are focused on the big goal. And the big goal is happiness. We chase after happiness. That's how we see it. So we don't want to see the dukkha. Why is it ignorance? One is deluded, the other is ignorance. Huh? Deluded means you got it wrong. Okay? The ignorance is we believe that the cure for dukkha is completing that chase. So chasing is good, getting what you want is what gives you happiness. As long as you keep chasing, you will keep experiencing dukkha. Precisely the trigger for craving, which is the condition for dukkha. As long as you chase, you will always experience dukkha. That's what it means. Do you understand this part? Do you understand it? This is all from the beginning. We believe that being happy is correct. When we experience restlessness, when we experience unhappiness, we think we are not normal. Without realizing that actually, moment to moment, point to point, we are actually experiencing dukkha. We are experiencing some degree of stress. We are experiencing some degree of dissatisfaction. That is why, now we put you to the test. That is why most of us, if we have nothing to do, and I tell you don't do anything, just sit 5 minutes, okay, 10 minutes, give you a bit more kick. 10 minutes, don't check your iPhone, don't check your electronic products, do not talk to the person next to you, do not eat anything, do not shake, just sit. 10 minutes. You spend the rest of the time looking at your watch. Because I ask you don't move, you will end up wanting to do something. Instead, you might actually, okay, look, I look at my mind and I'll plan for tomorrow what to cook. And I say, cannot do that also. Cannot even plan. Just sit there, do nothing. You will go crazy. It's very disturbing because nothing to do, nothing to do. If you tell me that, then what is the reality of your mind? If you tell me I can't sit for 5 minutes or 10 minutes not doing anything, what are you telling me about your mind? Your mind needs distraction. Why can't you sit quietly without distraction? Because the mind is experiencing, what's the magic word? That is why it cannot not do anything. That is why the mind cannot stand the idea of staring at it. That is why when you go on retreat and you really do it, the hardcore stuff, meaning you spend a whole day staring at your mind, you walk, you sit, you sleep, only stare at your mind. First day you cry, second day you cry harder. First day you cry, you want to go home. Second day you cry harder, you are stuck because the bus went off. Third day you are numb. I mean, it all depends on your threshold. Fourth day you feel better because tomorrow you're going home. Whatever. But when you stare very hard at the mind actually gets very disturbed. That is dukkha. So dukkha is right there. You spend your time looking for sukha so can bluff yourself. Okay? And all this while, from the day you were born, when you baby, they give you sutta. I mean, sutta, right? Pacifier. They give you a pacifier. Then you're a bit older, the one that they spit the pacifier out, they give you a toy. What is that? Disturbing, distracting you. Then after a while, because we modern age already, give you iPad. You see what I'm saying? So from day one, when in the manner that your parents dealt with you to buy themselves some peace, they gave you distraction. So from a very young age, you learned distraction is the road to happiness. That's how we kena. And then today, adult already, especially if you're working adult and feeling a little more affluent, you don't need them to buy you pacifier. Or say you buy your own. I got the diamond studded one. I got all these distracting toys. That's the way it is. That's how we end up with the belief that in order to be happy, you need distraction. Whether it's a physical distraction from outside or a mental distraction from inside. It always works. But the ignorance, you distract and you distract and you distract, then you die. Let's start again. Kenal? That's the samsara that we're talking about. Okay? Okay, this is to add colors. Okay. So the mind is the problem because of wrong seeing, wrong understanding, wrong conclusion, wrong start point. Don't worry, mind can be fixed if you tackle the correct problems. Once fixed, you'll be truly happy, at peace, and unburdened. Number 4, here's how you do it. This is Four Noble Truths in proper English of today. I can do the Singlish version, but no need. Give you a bit more respect, you know? We'll do it this way. This is actually the Four Noble Truths. You understand wrongly, you see wrongly, you come to the wrong conclusion, you keep chasing after the thing. All this thing that you're doing bad for your... Think of it like this. Think of it this way. You all are very familiar, right, with the body. Eh? So at a point in time when the dietitians are saying you should eat more protein, you know, eat more protein for build this, and that, other, you know, don't eat carbo, and then protein man die. Because you have all these but not enough carbo, and then your thing goes a bit crazy. Then someone comes along and says, no, eat vegetable, don't eat other things. Then you eat already, also end up with all kinds of problems. You see what I'm saying? All the wrong start point. The same thing goes with the mind. For the longest time, you were on an unhealthy diet, mental diet. So you end up with mental problems. All of us have some kind of mental problems. Because if you don't have some kind of mental problems, you will not need distraction. You won't need distraction. You can sit, watch your breathing, at peace with the world. Sadhu. As long as you need distraction, means you're not at peace. As long as your body has ache, would you say it's okay? Think about it. Look at your body. As long as your body has some ache, some pain, would you say your body is okay? Healthy lah, but it will be like this. Then how is it your mind has sadness, anger, but it's okay? It's okay. We have double standard. Okay? Okay, last question. Ultimately, it's really whether you agree with him that he's right and you're looking for happiness in all the wrong places. Actually, the slides will be sent to you. Has been sent, right? Yeah. This is a summary of the practice, okay? This is a summary. It's all that I've been saying, so you can just take a picture and we move on, okay? The thing about the practice is, this is how you apply it in daily life. Every time you experience a certain unpleasant sensation, you need to tell yourself there is a craving there somewhere. Every time you feel not happy, not good, you feel upset, you ask yourself, where is that craving? What is it that you want? Don't try and push the anger away by by just bearing it. Just ask yourself, what is the craving you want? As long as there is a craving somewhere, that is the dukkha, the source of the dukkha. If you can understand this, then you ask yourself, is it possible to let that craving diminish a little, moderate a little? At this point in our practice, to just completely let it go may be hard. I'll give you an example. Let's give you an example. You have a quarrel with somebody, then there's a lot of angst. You have to ask yourself, what is it you want? Because usually you end up saying, I don't want him to be like this, I don't want him to be like that, I don't want him to be like that. Yeah? But what is it you want him to be? And then you ask yourself, is it reasonable to demand you want A, B, C of him? What if he turned it around and said, I want A, B, C, D of you? Why can't I be me? Why can't you accept me for me? You see the problem? So there's a lot of wanting which you don't realize. This practice is about seeing the true nature of your mind as it is. Every time there is a dukkha, don't pretend it doesn't exist. Just say, what is it you want? Is it reasonable? If it's not reasonable, are you able to moderate? Okay lah, he must be like this, or maybe not like this. Maybe he eating only so loud, a bit softer can or not? You see what I'm saying? Etc., etc., okay? Next. Oh, I didn't realize my Dhamma talk is longer than it is, man. 3 parts to it. The earlier part is about wisdom. This is the second part, morality. Morality, right speech, right action, and all those things. This is about trying to keep the mind pure. It's a prerequisite for meditation. Okay? Right samadhi is the last part on a quiet mind. You need the quiet mind. Okay, let me sum up this method. First, you must approach it from the correct understanding. Unless and until you accept that the Four Noble Truths makes sense, it's correct, it can be done, let's work at it. Unless and until you accept that, you can't start. But once you start, you're saying, I will learn to moderate, I will learn to let go a bit. That's the start point. Then, in the way that you deal with the world, this is where the morality comes in. The do good, do no evil part comes in. Morality is the do good, do no evil, and you try to purify the mind. Then comes, with all these efforts you're making, it is now possible to sit and meditate. In quieting the mind, quiet the mind. I'm not talking about jhana, I'm just talking about the mind going quiet. What happens when the mind goes quiet? It is possible for you to observe the arising and the falling away of mental states as they come up and they fade away. They come up and they fade away. You have to keep looking at fading away. Very often we are caught up with arising. 来了, 吸掉. No. It must be 了. Cessation. Observe how the mental states diminish. Okay? As it becomes softer, gentler, quieter, then you will know for yourself the mind is capable of letting it go. If you don't keep feeding thoughts, feeding words, the mind is capable of letting things be. If the mind were not capable of letting things be, the 1,000 quarrels you had in the past is still on your checklist. And if those 1,000 quarrels are still on your checklist, you very jialat. You understand what I'm saying? But the fact is, you're not so jialat, what? You're not so bad. I mean, you're not so bad means there are a lot of things you have let go of. So the mind is capable of it. It's a question of whether you allowed it. You want to let go or not. You want to allow it or not. It's easier to do it if you have meditation. Okay? That's the value of meditation. Done. Okay, it's late. Do you have a burning question? No burning question? Okay, all the best to you. The rest of the Eightfold Path will be explained by the other teachers. Okay? If you have a question, I can hang around for a short while. Once they start turning off the lights, it's over.